Chelsea, and I'm here with Dr. Ricardo Averbach. I'm just going to ask him a couple questions. So, Ricardo.
Yes.
Where are you from?
I was born in Brazil, and that's where I spent almost the first half of my life.
All right. How long have you been here?
In the U.S., I've been here since 1991, so 20 years.
What languages did they speak in Brazil?
In Brazil? Brazil is the only country in South America where people speak Portuguese, because it was colonized by the Portuguese people. All other countries in South America speak Spanish.
Interesting. Could you teach me a few words in your language?
A few words in Portuguese, sim.
Yeah.
Como vai você? Tudo bem?
What's that mean?
How are you doing?
Okay.
People usually like very much the Brazilian language. It is slightly different, the pronunciation, than the one spoken in Portugal. They think that the Brazilian Portuguese is more melodic, and people usually like Brazilian music because of that.
How do you say hello?
Olá, como vai? Tudo bem?
Okay.
Hello, how are you? Everything all right?
So, could you describe your immigration experience?
To the U.S. Oh, it's very unusual. First of all, I lived in Brazil and studied in Brazil until I went to college. I studied engineering in Brazil, and then after I graduated, I decided to give a total turn, and I decided to study music. So I actually went to Europe to study music. I lived for 6 years in Bulgaria, and I did the whole conservatory there. Then I returned to Brazil, worked for a couple of years, and decided to come to the US to take a doctoral degree, and that was in 1991. So I basically came to the US to study. I was looking for a place, and I had a colleague from the engineering school that was a friend of mine who became a professor in Berkeley, California, University of California, Berkeley, in the engineering school. I met him, and he, through the conductor at Berkeley, he arranged an audition for me. And I had an audition at the University of Michigan, and later was accepted in the doctoral program. So I came to study, I took the doctoral degree, and then started a practical training, and when I graduated, I got a job at the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. So I worked there for 7 years, and then I came to Miami University, and I've been here for 10 years more.
That's awesome. So, did you have trouble adjusting to your new surroundings?
Here in the US, I had a lot of difficulties. And this is kind of strange, because, you know, the countries in South America have a lot of influence, American influence. But what happened is that I left Brazil and went to study, I said in Europe, but that was in Bulgaria, which is part of Europe now, but it is Eastern Europe. And when I studied in Bulgaria, this was in the 80s, when Bulgaria was a communist country. So I was completely isolated from whatever was happening in the Western world. And it might sound strange for you, but you know, I was an engineer, then I was living in Bulgaria, and during that time, so many things happened here. For example, the invention of the microcomputers. So and besides that, I learned everything in a different alphabet, the Cyrillic alphabet. So I came back and everything was very different for me. And when I came to the US, the adaptation was very, very difficult. For example, I was used to take notes in Cyrillics. I was in a doctoral program. Suddenly, they gave me a paper to write, and I calmly wrote the paper in a piece of paper, handwritten, gave to the teacher, and he was shocked. In a doctoral program, I didn't know how to use computers. Started from there. And then the environment was very weird for me. I wasn't used to this kind of interaction that students have in the US. It's not easy to explain because everybody here is used to this way of interaction of people. In Bulgaria it was different. Classes were very small. We had individual classes. And the relationship among the students was very close, and with the teachers also. Even though it was very, very close, there was a certain distance in the sense teachers there are considered like gods. I'm not kidding. And the system of education is one of, it's intimidating. They put you down and so on, but at the same time you know that your teacher likes you very much. It's very different. Here you talk to the teacher, as I said, "Hi Ricardo, how is it?" and so on. And there is not the same kind of distance that existed in Bulgaria. Even though I feel that here at Miami it is different from the University of Michigan. When I was in Michigan, it was very difficult to make friends, extremely difficult. And even though everybody, you know, when you're in class says hi, hello, I would walk in the corridor, see someone from my class, they wouldn't even have eye contact. It was really like that. That's what I felt. So it was very, very difficult for me.